Hey folks, Fernando doing a video for More Survivalist, and in this video I'd like to do a little bit of an update regarding the coronavirus situation. I've covered it in previous videos. In fact, I had a great podcast with David Jones, who's a true expert in this field, nuclear, biological and chemical warfare, over 20 years of experience in the US military. If you haven't seen that podcast, it's almost an hour long talking about this with a guy that's a true expert. Really advise you to give it a look. Now, I'd like to talk about some of the common sense things we've mentioned before, and also some of the things I'm doing myself and we're doing in my house so as to be a little bit better prepared. It's kind of the thing that you may want to be doing yourself. So first of all, we've talked about this before, washing your hands, using alcohol gel, that sort of thing. That is, I mean, for us it's pretty much common sense. We're from South America. Diseases are a little bit more of an issue than they are in some of the more developed countries where sickness, diseases are not as spread throughout the population due to socioeconomic realities of the different countries. So in places like South America, people that know better do wash their hands far more often than people in more developed countries. That's simply the way it is. That's what we've been doing for many, many years. Because of that, we've been using alcohol gel for many years as well. One of the things that was brought up in a previous video is, oh, alcohol gel is pretty crappy because it leaves your hands all sticky, and I mean, that hasn't been my experience. I've used alcohol gel in several different countries from several different brands, local ones. Very rarely have I come across an alcohol gel that was bad in terms of leaving your hands sticky. Usually they nail it down pretty good and it just leaves a slightly, like aloe vera or something else so as to not dry your hands so much. But usually they are up to specs. The CDC says it has to be at least 60% alcohol. Usually your hand sanitizer of somewhat reputable brand will cover that. So alcohol gel, yes, of course, you have to use it all the time when you're out and about, pushing buttons in elevators, opening doors, using anything that is of a public access, when handling cash, money, your cell phone. So you pay something with your credit card, you hand it over, or you pay with cash, then you touch your cell phone, then you use your alcohol gel, and then you touch your cell phone again. You're touching the same surface that is not clean with your hands. So it has to be constant. You have to be very aware of that. And whenever possible, water and soap. And so that you understand that it's not something that I'm just covering right now because of the latest events. This is my latest book, Street Survival Skills. If you haven't bought it, the link is going to be there below, as it always is. I highly recommend it, not only because I wrote it myself, but because it actually covers all this stuff and a lot more. But just as an example of what I mean, there's a part here where I explain how to do your own hand sanitizer, which I've shown in a previous video. Going to show that I mean what I say in terms of this is basic stuff that any prep or any survivalist should know. But what I also explain is how to properly wash your hands. I do that little drawing there. There's actually protocols for all of this. There's a protocol on how to properly wash your hands for people in the medical industry, for doctors, nurses. You don't just put a little bit of alcohol gel and just do like this. You rub your palms, you rub your knuckles, you rub your fingers between them as well individually. You have to do it properly so as to effectively clean your hands. It's not just, okay, I'm done. No, so these are all things that are important. There's protocols on how to change the protection clothes that you're using, how to use your respirator. This does not work if you have a longer beard. Even the beard I have now, it's a little bit long. I mean, I just tested and it does seal, and I would actually suffocate if I'm wearing this without the filters with the beard I have. So that means that it's sealing my face pretty well. But there's protocols for all of this. There's protocols including for how to properly wash your hands. Alcohol gel does dry up your hands a bit. I've been using it for decades. My entire family has. It's not that big of a deal, but every once in a while, if you have to, just put a bit of lotion, cream, or something that your wife or your girlfriend has, and that's it. Your skin has to be pliable and soft so as to get the job done. That's what it's there for. If it's all cracked and dry, it's not really working. In terms of respirators, of course, these are the N95 or better are the ones that you should be having. There's other alternatives. I've left the link below many times. I think that by now it's already out of stock in most places in Amazon. I don't think you're going to be finding much. If I find, I'll check again. and if I find anything worth it, I'll leave the link for you guys to check out. There's other alternatives as well. These are a face mask by rzmask.com. They sent me these a while back, actually. Again, this is preparedness 101. This is basic stuff. So it's a nylon mesh with a carbon filter underneath, and you have 2 valves. This is nice because you have replaceable filters that you can keep on changing, and you have a double valve system with an aluminum nose bridge so that it adjusts properly to your face, and you kind of get it like this, and you have a good respirator so as to go about your day. This is very good. This works as well. This is even better. Now, this is very expensive. You have other alternatives like industrial 3M respirators. I had a link to those before. I'll do it again if I find them. But those are really not all that expensive, and that's a full face device, a full face mask. It's covering your eyes as well, which is part of the equation as well. Those 3M industrial respirators the one I linked to had a 40mm NATO filter, which is as good as it gets. Yeah, of course, it's not the latest technology, such as stuff like this, but it's very close, and is more than enough so as to deal with this kind of situation. But you have several options. Don't forget about your eyes. So this will cover your eyes as well, a full face mask. If not, if you're combining it with a respirator, you can use something. I mean, if you have sunglasses that are very close, that's also good. This is a little bit better because it has like a gasket going around your eyes, or a proper safety goggles. Those would be ideal. The ones you would be using if you're in a contaminated area. But this, in combination with one of these or one of these, you can go out, be about your day without any concerns. In all honesty, if it gets really bad, I wouldn't be shy about using this if I have to. I mean, if I'm in my city and it's already widespread, like it is in some places in China, then I would not be shy at all about using this, using these as well. Your gloves. As you see, these are used. So these are basic staples. These are basic supplies that any prepper, any survivalist has anyway, because you use it all the time for a number of different uses. But use this, and also the proper protocol. As soon as you get back home, you take off your clothes that were exposed to the outside, and you wash properly. If it gets to a certain point, you can maybe end up using one of the full suits so as to dispose of when you're back. But you have to be very careful regarding not bringing all that home. Ventilate your house well, open windows, let natural sunlight in. UV will sterilize surfaces in a certain period of time. So these things about ventilating, the traditional household hygiene habits are very important. In terms of boosting your immune system, this is something that I've talked about before. It is basically about sleeping well, being well rested, eating well, healthy, balanced diet, not drinking alcohol or smoking, not eating too much, and working out, staying a little bit in shape. Do a little bit of cardio 3-4 times a week, half an hour or a little bit more maybe, and lots of vitamin C. There's been different studies. Some say it's not as good, but there's been more recent studies by very reputable reputable people and organizations saying that yes, it is definitely boosting your immune system, and it's definitely well indicated and improves your defenses against flu and viruses. So by all means, get plenty of vitamin C, either like these or natural source, whatever it is, but get a lot of it. It is something that, based on all the research I've read, is definitely something that's going to be helping you out. So it's going to be helping you in terms of not getting the disease at all, or if you do, so as to deal with it a lot better than you would otherwise. And then it's about also avoiding people to some extent, and how far you take this will depend on each one. You have to make that decision yourself. It's gonna be a lot about what's happening locally. So stay on top of the news on current events in your city, in your town. What we've been doing around here is just doing all of these things and being a little bit more cautious in terms of if we can avoid going to some places a lot of people, we avoid that. And not going nuts or anything, but I'll give you one example. Yesterday we were at a supermarket here, not a lot of people, it's not that big of a town, and it's more of a seasonal thing, so right now it's very low population in general, but there were a few people shopping and doing their thing. I was there with my wife and one of my kids. All of a sudden we hear someone coughing very loudly in one of the aisles. I just told my wife, you know what, you go with my son outside and go out. I'll finish up here. I'll just wait, pay for this, and meet you outside. So all of these little things are just taking a few extra precautions, along with washing your hands and all that stuff. A lot of people are not well educated in how to properly cough. They will spit all over the place, or at the most they will just spit all over their hands, which they'll spread in most surfaces. The right thing to do is covering with your elbow and sneezing like this. That way you avoid spreading the disease. Even better if you adopt the Asian cultures of using one of a respirator or face mask as soon as you show any signs. Keep in mind though that it's already been established that people are spreading the disease before they even start showing any signs of it. So someone may look perfectly healthy right next to you, and he may be sick, and he may be spreading the disease. So all of this has to be kept in mind. Again, stay on top of the news. All of this, yes, but stay on top of events in your town, in your city, and that will let you know how far you take this. If the disease is really spreading in your city, in your town, then you may be not sending the kids to school anymore for a while. You have your supplies, so stay home. If you can work from home a little bit more, avoid meetings, avoid going to places where there's crowds. You may end up doing that if you can, if it is a possibility. And if that's happening and you still have to go out, take all the precautions, and I mean all the precautions. I will put this on without a single hesitation if I have to, if I think it's better for my family. Go about whatever it is I have to do, then come back home, remove the clothes, get properly clean and such, and that's it. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this little video. It prepares you a little bit better. Have an awesome day. See you on the next video.